And out of the blue came Barry and Akash.
I am very Kaushals.
I met their beautiful family, and then we became very good friends. He hosts a lot of great parties that are super popular, and so we are serving their clients with mortgages.
18 years of traveling, and it's been in every hotel, every airline. And
So dad says, instead of you going and doing that, why don't you come to Phoenix, come here.
What's up, Kiran? How you doing, brother?
Good, Shane. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, man. We got a couple of amazing guests in the house today, guys. I'm gonna let you introduce them.
I ran into this guy on Facebook video. He was like super high energy. He doesn't look too old. He doesn't look too young for that.
Right?
Then I made a call and I met Barry. Barry, the man. So after that, we have partnered on some deals. Then I have run into Akash. I met their beautiful family, and then we became very good friends.
I love it.
So started with business, we partnered, and then we know the families. He hosts a lot of great parties that are super popular. So we are going to get into all of that. But what excites me the most is these two guys. I've been in real estate in the Valley, mortgages for the last 18 years, right? We kind of were pretty well known, and out of the blue came Barry and Akash, and then they made the connections and they made the real estate business seem very easy. So I want to get into all the details, knowing the secret sauce of their success, along with I'm going to be sharing my excitement of partnering with them and serving their clients with mortgages. So first we should start with the head of the family.
Yeah,
Barry, can you introduce yourself in your words?
Hi, I am very Kaushal. And I normally, when you see me on Facebook, I say I am the most handsome realtor ever I am. And that's my personal opinion.
He says the same thing. What is going on here? We got the two most handsome real estate agents
Next
in Arizona.
Just number
Jeez, what?
two.
So that's, we came to Arizona as I'm a computer engineer by profession. And so came here, being on assignments, been traveling. So I got in with Honeywell and with the understanding that I will not be traveling. And they still kept sending me on assignments to Minnesota, California. And I said, enough is enough. And I had understanding that I'll work from an office, I will not travel.
Right.
So with that, since the traveling got involved, and we were talking about kids, and that I'm not happy about traveling because I've already done 18 years of traveling and it's been in every hotel, every airline. And
You're done with it.
yeah, I've been to every city of America and Canada. I've done enough. So I want to settle down in one city and make friends. So
what made you decide on Phoenix? So you come from Canada. And you
I
come
came
to
from
Phoenix.
for Honeywell office in Phoenix.
Okay.
On the night.
And give me one thing that you just said, okay, Phoenix is it. This is the place.
I fell in love the moment I saw from the plane window, the mountains, and I was under the impression it'll be like what we see in Saudi Arabia, deserts and camels.
Yeah.
And suddenly this one was like nice downtown structures and high rises.
See, but if you're coming from Canada, Arizona is an easy sail.
Yeah.
So it's so easy. I've
true.
been to Canada with the snow and all that. See, a lot of people from Canada are moving to Arizona, not just from Canada, the entire East Coast belt, right?
Yes.
So many calls we get from people who are wanting to explore, and they come to explore, they end up settling here.
Absolutely.
So it's no surprise you liked Arizona from Canada.
Yeah, I done my share of snow.
Right.
I lived in a city called Winnipeg, which in Canada they call Winterpeg.
Right.
On a real worst night of the year, once a year, there is a night If your car breaks down, you got 3 minutes to say your last prayers. Find out warm shelter.
That's it. Oh man, we do that, but it's summer. It's the dead of summer. It's the heat. It's the opposite.
The weather is so bad out there. Yeah, if you don't find a warm shelter, you won't see the sunrise next day.
All right, so you come to Arizona and you decide, I'm done with traveling, I'm going to move here. And at the time, you were an engineer, right? Honeywell, you weren't in real estate. What was that first idea like, okay, I'm going to get into real estate? What tell us about that process?
There two sides to it. One, my wife has been looking at every open house, every chance. Even if she can't, she'll just go over the fence and look at the house. And I said, in case, since you love real estate so much, kids are grown up, they're all moved on, and why don't you start real estate? And she started it. And meanwhile, this thing happened at my work. And I talked to my kids. I say, I always been telling you can do anything in life. Anything you focus on can happen.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Just like that, too?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. I talk with my heart, with a lot of energy. And then these kids tell me that you've been talking about anyone can do anything. All you have done is engineering for the last 25 years. You haven't changed your profession. Can you succeed at something else? I was up for the challenge. They were getting pushed out. And so that's how we got into real estate.
Dude, I love it.
See, that's very inspirational. People having confidence and arrogance, totally different. Barry is such a ground to earth man. He's super confident, not arrogant.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
It's a big
right?
difference. And once you start to know him, once you start to understand him, you'll know how humble of a man he is. At the same time, he's confident. Okay, there is new mortgage program. Just before the podcast, we were talking about buy down programs. Okay, buy down, how to buy down the rate, how to help our clients. He got super excited, and then he's a learner. He's a student to begin with. So Akash, we'll get to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So what is your journey been?
Okay, so you challenge Dad. Dad gets into real estate, right? Now, at this point, when you decide to get into it, are you already successful in real estate? You still just starting? Well, I mean, what would you say
We
you are in your
were
journey?
pretty successful for a new beginner.
Okay, gotcha.
And seemed like we could use some help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
You were growing.
So
yeah,
he reached out to me. I was looking to make a career change as well or I was making a job change because where I was at, I was just starting to dread going into the office every day. Like I was having that like anxiety of like, I don't like what I'm doing. I don't like where I'm at. And it might have been the place I was at, but either way, I was ready for a change. And so I started applying to jobs and I was working as a process engineer in California. And so Dad says, you know what, instead of you going and doing that, why don't you come to Phoenix, come here, work with me for 1 year. That's it. Just 1 year. Give me 1 year to help me get things off the ground, put the systems in place and establish, this business, this new business that me and your mom are doing. I said, okay. And so 1 year later, 1 year passes, 6 years pass, and now we have this massive business that I couldn't even think about going back to, doing what I was doing before.
I love it, man. So, okay, so for you, you were dreading going back. And a lot of people out there that might be watching this video are in that space. You've got a 9 to 5. Maybe you got a great career. You're making a lot of money, but maybe it's just soul sucking. You're like, I need something different, right? It might be real estate. In my case, it was photography. It might be anything, right? So for you, what was that aha moment when you're like, okay, this is something that I can do, and it's going to feed my soul and give me a life of purpose different than what I'm doing right now?
Yeah. Inside of real estate, after I got in, it was definitely, honestly, it took, there was glimpses of it, but it didn't really feel it until maybe the second year. Because the first year in was, and first year and a half, 2 years even, when I look back on, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of glamour and people think it's very easy to get into real estate and mortgages, right? That they can just be like, oh, you can just go make fast cash, right? But I found that it was the most difficult thing that I'd actually ever experienced.
So let me chime into that.
Yeah,
right?
let's hear it.
People always think a particular business is easy, and also they get into the glamour of it. For real estate, even for photography, we talked about it before.
Yeah.
People think everybody can be a photographer or have that business. But if you want to be the best in the business, it does take 2 years. It does take 2 full years for you to understand and then use your tweaks to it, and then serve the customers to the best of your ability.
Yeah, absolutely.
And him taking 2 years is phenomenal. A lot of people get out of business within a year.
Yeah.
Most real estate agents, if you look at the statistics, it's unbelievable how many people enter the real estate industry with the excitement, but then they exit within a year.
Yeah. So my question for those watching the video would be, if you feel that anxiety about the choice you made to do the thing you love, maybe you just haven't put enough time into it. Are you 3 months? Are you 5 months? Are you 6 months into it? And you're already like, oh, this is so hard. Duh. It's supposed to be hard, right? You're not going to be super successful 6 months into it. There are a few outliers, but for the most part, and in your case, like you said, it was on the other side of 2 years when you're like, okay. Now, and for me as a photographer, it's the same way. It was part-time as a hobby for a long time, and then I made the switch, and then you get momentum.
Yeah.
And it feels good, and that direction feels good.
And it took 6 months to get momentum.
Yeah.
Momentum,
You know what I mean? Where it was like, we built our business off, at least minimum the 3.5 years, almost 4 years of open housing 3 to 4 days a week. He'd sit in an empty house. I'd sit in an empty house.
There you go.
6 hours a day for 4 days a week, Thursday through Sunday.
That's a huge lesson right there, because you guys did the work. And even if you had an empty open house, you're like, I'm going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Do it again the next day.
Yeah.
Right.
What are some other lessons you guys applied during that time in your life?
So like during that, it's like, you don't know who's going to walk in when.
Yeah.
So the magic of just being in the right place, like setting yourself up to be in the right place, because I wasn't going to walk and meet a client sitting at home, right? Because we weren't doing things like cold calling. We were very good at face-to-face interaction. So that was our skill set. We didn't know anything else either. So that was the big one for that side of things, and building it. And then,
like when you go to a company, all they say, write the list of everybody you know in town. Our list was, we did not know.
we wrote down each other's names.
Would you like to buy a home? Would you?
We came from a different country in a new city, and we knew no one. And go to the broker and they say, write the name of all the people. All the people is 5 people, maybe 3.
Here's your database. Here's your database.
Okay, well, let's talk about that real quick, because if you let's say that you're watching this and you're living in your hometown, your city, you've been there for a while, you want to start a business, you know more people than these guys knew when they first started.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse. They certainly didn't take it as an excuse. So you guys started off with less than 5, probably.
Yeah.
What did you do to change that? In business-wise, what did you do to change that number of your
Well, the thing is now we do not know anyone to call. Only way to find people is I will carry 100 cards in my pocket. Yeah. Anyone I walk by, I'm a good real estate agent. So
that.
Fake it till you make it.
I love that.
I always get my cards printed in 5,000s because I give out cards.
Right.
Anyone on the plane, in the line, on the grocery line, if somebody smiles at me, hey, there's a card for me.
Well, and we
I cut you looking.
We talked about this, about not being a secret agent.
Yes.
Remember, whatever it is that you do and you love, making sure that other people know about it.
About what
you
do,
did a great job. I mean, 5,000 cards handing them out.
Yeah.
And then I can tell the audience that to be successful in your craft, you have to have the most comfortable thing that you are able to do consistently, with confidence, without giving a feel to yourself that you're a salesperson. Only then you are successful. I know people who do cold calling and they are 100% convinced that what they are doing is a service to the person picking up the phone. They never think that it is a marketing call that they have to make. Once they have that feeling in their mind, then the cause is lost. He was able to confidently hand out the cards. I don't hand out my cards. See, it's different flavor, right? Each person has to be comfortable in what they do. I can't be active and high energy like Barry is. It's different. Each person is different. Yet it doesn't mean you'll not be successful. That's an inspiration and learning point for the viewers that are listening. You have to do what you're comfortable with, right? So I was comfortable associating myself with super successful people. Right? So that was my path, wherein I make conversations with them, and then they always referred business. And once I get a client, they always refer 2 or 3 people. So that's like almost like a nuclear explosion, wherein you service 3 people, then each of them gives 3, then I have 9 clients, and immediately you have 27 clients within a short period of time.
Absolutely.
So that's how you do it. You don't hand out cards, do you? Or how do you do it?
Not as many, but I
You
like
can be married.
his card output is insane. It's
He's like this.
It's exactly.
In the mall.
He's gone down, like an airplane and just handing them out down the aisle and stuff.
I was at the Shanghai airport at a 6-hour delay in China.
The largest airport in the world, right? Yeah.
I had 200 cards in my bag. I stood on a bench and said, anyone traveling to America, I am an awesome agent in Phoenix. So
Man, I
contact me.
love that, dude. Yeah.
And I gave away 200 cards. By the time I was done, there was about 8 Chinese guys standing. Can I have a card? I said, I run out of it. People wanted my cards in China for a real estate in America.
So what was your approach? I mean, you were flinging cards like your dad was. But you obviously had your own approach, right?
Right. And I would go to networking things.
Okay.
So young professionals, which is what my dad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, young professional networking. There's probably 3-4 groups that I still regularly attend, and then anything that was related to like certain hobbies and certain things that I would go to those groups. So I really had to just go put myself out of the house. So I was outside of the open house stuff, outside of making. It was really about, can I make friends and new relationships in a city where I don't know anybody, and then business came from the relationship.
Dude,
I wasn't focused on I need to go meet people to sell houses.
Right.
I need to go meet people because I need a social circle here because I don't have any friends. And then business flew from that.
So I remember when I started the business, I used to go to a lot of conferences.
Okay.
And in the conferences, typically it's a conference about real estate or mortgage, and then you meet like-minded people. That's the place you meet like-minded people. I never met like-minded people in my sphere of influence because I came from Intel. I worked there for 8 years. All my friends worked at Intel, and they're all focused on going up the career ladder. Nothing wrong with it, but their career path is different than mine.
Right.
And then I have to choose my tribe. And my tribe, I got it from going to these conferences and all that. So talking about open houses, I remember you were doing an open house. I ran into the open house. I saw the sign, and because I love open houses.
Yeah, man,
whenever I'm driving, I just see where the
You never
investment
know who you're going to meet
opportunity.
there, right? That you might know.
So it says open house, and I saw his sign. Then I knocked. Then he opened after maybe 3 minutes. I don't know if you remember this.
I was in the bathroom or something like that.
Then he was like wiping his pants and all that. I'm like, man, I didn't know it. It's like a weird. Then I went there at the kitchen table. There was this beautiful blonde girl sitting at the table, and it was a vacant house just by himself. So like, what is happening here? Then we talked, and I left. After a few years, then I met Barry, and then we connected. But it's strange, like you meet people, you actually go to the places wherein there is a high chance of you meeting people who are like-minded.
Absolutely, man.
Once you are like-minded, then you establish a relationship, then it's easy to do business, or it's easy to make a conversation.
Well, there's a couple of takeaways that I got from both your conversations. Number one is you said you went to these events regularly. You gave out cards regularly. You went to open houses regularly. But I have this motto as a photographer. My goal is to take a photo every single day, because the photographer who shoots 365 times a year is going to be 7 times further along than the photographer who shoots once a week, right? You're 7xing your production, your ability to pivot. It's the same in real estate, whatever business you're doing. So making sure that you're consistent with whatever it is that you choose to do for lead generation.
Consistency.
And the other thing that I really liked that you said was that you went to these events not with the purpose of selling something to somebody. You wanted a social circle. You wanted people to be around you, to have friends. We all hate when we're being sold. We can smell it a mile away. But when someone is genuine and like, hey, I am really good at what I do. If you happen to need it, awesome. But let's develop a relationship. That goes so far in business, especially nowadays. That was my big takeaway. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
What it is that we're not selling houses, to be honest. There's nothing like if we walk into a house and you're my client, there's nothing suddenly after the first 30 seconds of you being in there that's going to change your mind that I can say.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, did you know there's solar? Did you see the pool back here? And you hate the house?
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
selling the house, right?
Yeah.
I'm selling myself. And so if I can just be myself and we connect, that is the easiest way for business to flow in the future.
Absolutely, 100%. And the energy that you bring to your lead generation, people probably look at that and say, that's the kind of agent that I want selling my home. I want that energy behind my house when it's being sold. I don't want somebody that's lazy, that's not going to be handing out 5,000 business cards. I want the guy that's going to do that for me.
I mean, especially for people in the service business, I tell the new agents in my team that it's best to talk less than to over talk and just ruin your relationship with the client. The clients these days, they are so extremely knowledgeable, and we need to be available as service person to be available if they have questions.
Yeah.
And we need to just keep on improving our knowledge. That way when they ask the question, you can be referring to your notes or the back pocket. You need to have on top of it. And what I like about Barry and Akash is they are always on top of their game. They're always asking me questions about mortgages, and we are always filling them in. Just like the time that we use before the podcast is to talk about what are the new programs, how are we negotiating. So always trying to be up to the game.
Well, man.
Thank you.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks. Take care.